Module-1. Yeah, so here it is. In part 2, we will set up development utility tools for .NET and Angular-based sample projects, right? In which we will showcase how we can create a basic structure using a CLI command for both .NET Core and Angular project. And we will also show you how we can use GitHub as a version control software in order to make it as our source code repository. We will help you to show how you can commit your code and push your code from your local machine to cloud-based GitHub server. So let's see. Hello learners. So we were looking into the web server environment and the different tools and technologies that interact to each other in order to deliver a meaningful product. Okay, so we already talked about .NET Core, Angular, Node.js. Okay, now please look into this area. Okay, so what it is? IAS, reverse proxy server. What do we mean by it? Okay, so these are the actual web servers that actually listen to the HTTP request, process it within the IIS. I mean, using middleware components that connect with .NET Core services, generate the response, validate the response, and then revert against that HTTP request as in HTTP response. Okay, so see how it is then implemented. Okay, so in .NET Core, there is another web server came, that is Kestrel. So Kestrel is a cross-platform web server that works in all environment. Either it could be Windows, or it could be Mac, or it could be Linux. Okay, so Kestrel servers work in each environment. Okay, so if you are working on Windows server, then even if you don't use Kestrel, then it is fine. You can install the .NET Core component over the IIS, and you can smoothly run your application. Okay, but if you work on Linux server or on Mac PC, okay, then Kestrel is a mandatory component that you must need to install. Okay, because it works like a web server. Okay, on cross platforms. Whenever a client sends an HTTP request to the application, I mean the web application, so this request comes to the Kestrel server directly. Okay, and one more thing, you don't need to make additional configuration or anything for utilizing the Kestrel services in your code, because the default template of .NET Core keeps all the necessary services and configuration. Okay, that will start working as soon as you just make Kestrel as your default web server, right? Now here there are two flows. Either Kestrel server can itself respond to the HTTP request, okay, directly, or if the IIS Apache is used in between, then Kestrel server is work like a reverse proxy server. That means it takes the request from internal .NET Core pipeline and then it pass on to IIS server, or finally uh, giving a response to the HTTP request. Okay, so it's up to developer choice how they configure the uh, application deployment, right? And accordingly, HTTP request and response path will be configured. So now we will create a sample default program, okay, to just see the look and feel of the default template of project, okay, with .NET Core and Angular, okay. Now again, I'm opening the command prompt. So I will use CLI command to create the project template. So .NET CLI is a command line interface based script, okay, that directly interact with .NET Core services, okay, and create the project structure basis predefined templates, okay. The .NET CLI command is used to create a .NET Core based solutions, console applications, web API project, MVC project, and many other. Look, there are two ways to creating .NET Core based applications. Okay, so either we can use Visual Studio or we can use CLI based command. Okay, so if we use Visual Studio, then it is really very easy for new developers. Okay, so in graphical way, you can simply open the Visual Studio and create the project in different templates, right? So here I'm referring template for the solution or web APIs or the class libraries, or if you want to create console application, or you want to create a full-fledged web application based on MVC architecture. And uh, .NET also has some automated template for unit cases. I mean, writing the unit case based programs. Okay, and navigating to the directory. And now I'm just trying to create a solution of a .NET Core based workspace. Okay, so the command is t.NET new SLN. Okay, so if I hit the enter button, then by default this script will create a solution file, or we can say the workspace file under this path C projects.NET Core projects, right? And the name of the solution would be .NET Core projects .sln. SLN is extension of solution. Okay, so I mean it's just a standard methodology defined within .NET Core platform. So if you create a solution file under any folder, then by default it takes folder name as a solution, right? So otherwise, you can also have any custom name for your solution file. Okay, so here I'm just going with the standard process. That way you can learn a new thing, that even if you don't define the solution name, still your solution will be created. Okay, the next stage is to add a project into this workspace, into this solution file. Okay. So since in our project, we will use .NET Core just as a web API services, okay, as in backend platform, okay, for integrating with Angular front-end tool. Let's see how by default web API project can be created. .NET again, you have to define the template name. So template name is web API. Then you have to create, you have to give the name of project. Okay. So I can write it plant delivery system delivery platform to plant delivery application. Okay, so let's keep this. You can also keep some other creative name for your projects. Okay, you can create any name. So your project is being created. Okay, so if you check now you can see here the solution file. Then so these all file automatically created through just a single line of CLI command. Okay, so I believe you can easily understand why I love so much this CLI command, because it takes really a very less time to just create the initial structure of project. Next step would be to link that project file with workspace. Okay, so until now the project structure has been just created separately. So until unless we will not associate with solution, then while we build the solution, then it will not connect the related projects. Okay, so once we create the structure of project, then the last step would be to connect that project with solution file. Okay, so again there is a separate command for that. So please keep remember, you have to put the .NET solution add. So add the project into this solution. So you have to mention this project name. Okay. Okay, but how you will differentiate whether this project is connected or not? So I will show you something. So right now, this solution doesn't have any project. Okay. So if we open this solution file in a text editor, okay, you can't see any reference of the newly created project, right? Now I'm closing this text editor. Okay, so now see here. As soon as I hit the come and oh, there is some mistake. Just a minute. Could not find project subject. It is not in the root directory. So the project file is under this directory. Understood? No? I try to say like our project is inside this plant delivery hyphen application directory. Okay. So this is the project name, right? But in our path, I have not mentioned the directory of this project file. That's why this error is coming, right? And one more thing, what I was referring. So as soon as I hit the command, hit the enter after writing this .NET solution add directory name. Okay, then what will happen? This project plant delivery application slash plant delivery application.cs project will be added under the solution. Okay, and we can easily see what if we open the solution file in text editor or Visual Studio, then you will easily see the project reference under that file. Okay, so let's see. Now, if you again open this solution file, then you can easily see the project reference under this solution. Yes. Can you see here? See. This solution file contains this project file reference. Okay. Initially, you may find that remembering the command is a challenge, but gradually, if you practice more, then you're really liking this CLI based development for .NET Core. It is pretty easy and fast. Okay. So now we have created a .NET Core project and associated that project to a solution or to build your project. Then again, you don't need to go to Visual Studio. There is a build command that you can use to build your project from the solution directory itself. Build. Now your build is being prepared. To just execute the program, for now, I'm entering inside the project folder. And now when we enter the command .NET run, then it should run the web application. So this web API. Okay, so there is a API endpoint. So this is the base URL. So I need to execute the command before this API project. And domain, I cannot find anything. Yes. So this is the project endpoint. As soon as I hit it, I got the result. Dear learners, as we explained you how you can create a .NET Core project using the .NET CLI commands. Okay. Similarly, you can create an Angular project for initial setup using CLI commands. Okay. So again, I prefer CLI commands because it is really fast to set up and create a basic architecture of project for uh, quickly creating the basic layouts of project workspace. Okay, so but it's my personal choice. If someone likes to create Angular projects or .NET projects using any IDE, then that is also perfectly all right. Okay, so let's create a Angular project using CLI command from here. So there is a command ng new any project name that you want to keep for this Angular project, like plant runtime. Okay, plan delivery frontend. So if I hit enter, then all the artifacts related to Angular project and architecture, the default configuration, everything would be pre-configured and the files will be inside this root folder. Already selected. Now click on enter. Server side rendering and static site generation. Yes, definitely we would like to generate static site at this moment. Server writing, routing, and app engine APIs. Basically, it asks sequentially all the scenario and use cases, and basis that the Angular system will create the project architecture. Okay, it's really a useful tool. Routing and app in the API. Yes, definitely. I would like to. Now it takes some time and automatically generates all the project files. Even it also keep update, take the latest packages and libraries of Angular and the related services. So just sit back, it will automatically creates the project file, and you can utilize this time in some other productive works. Now we are creating the Angular project. Yes, so it's successfully created. So dear learners, we have also created the Angular project using the default template and CLI command. So now only thing is remaining to just push all the changes, all the uh, project artifacts, whatever you create, how you can push into GitHub. Okay. So when we go to the subsequent modules, then definitely we will go in depth about different commands for working with GitHub. But for now, we will just create a basic project repository and push our all the codes and artifacts so far we have created. Okay, and you can use it at your end to practice it. Okay, because it's a very useful tool. Okay, if you want to learn this course alongside me, then please consider it as your project activity. So please do it yourself. Uh, create account on GitHub and try to push the code from your local machine to this GitHub repository. So let's quickly see how we can push our code into GitHub repository. Okay, and before pushing the code on GitHub, let's quickly see the project that is created using Angular CLI command, right? So we will go Visual Studio, just open it. And then run, since it's not a .NET Core or project file, so we will simply open the entire folder for now to just look how the structure of Angular created by default CLI command. Where have I created the files? Okay, and then projects. So Angular projects. Okay. Select the base folder. Here you can see. I'm just going to push the .NET Core and Angular projects into GitHub repository. And you should also practice it at your end in order to learn how to utilize GitHub tool in order to manage the code repositories and collaborate with team members throughout the development phases. Dear learners, now we are at the end of the module 1, okay? And the last thing is how we can push our code into central repository that is on GitHub. Earlier, I have demonstrated how we can set up a GitHub account, okay? So if you already sign up on GitHub, then you can log in into GitHub account, and once you logged in, you can see this screen. Okay, so you can click on I mean either this plus sign, just click on this new repository, or you can also create here as well to create a new repository. So since it's just very beginning, I just wanted to give you the idea about how we can push the code into GitHub. Okay, so I'm not going to create any project or any hierarchy structure. So just trying to showcase you how we can push our code. Okay, so I'm just going to create a repository. So like it is as per standard practice, we keep the repository name same, that is our project name. So suppose I want to push our .NET Core code that I just created during our sample learning. Okay, so what was the project name? Projects. Yes, .NET Core projects. So we can refer this solution name. Okay, so under the solution, there might be multiple projects. So it's better to keep the solution name, copy it, and make our repository with the same name. So put it here. If you want to keep this repository available to everyone, make it public. Okay. So anyone can access it and commit their changes into this repository. But I don't want to do this, allow this. So I will make it private. Okay. So I would have the control who should commit the changes, right? Now, just I'm creating the repository. So here we have the repository link. So for now, just copy it. Now we will again create another repository for Angular project, right? So as I said before, it is a standard practice that we keep the root workspace name as a repository name. So this is our root workspace name for this Angular project. So just copy. Okay. Putting the same name for again, I'm keeping it private. I don't want to allow this our repository for anyone to commit. Now I'm hitting the create repository button. So as you can see, I get this repo path for and this project repository was for .NET Core backend. Now we again open the command prompt and navigate to the project path. So this is starting to this root folder. Getting into this Angular project directory. Okay. Now Git has a lots of command. Okay, but in order to push the project repository, we basically need only 4 or 5 commands. Okay, so one more thing. In order to work with GitHub, you should must have GitHub client software in your machine, right? So since this is my development machine and I already have Git Bash installed on my PC, so if the same client application is installed in your development machine, then that is fine. Otherwise, please install it, okay? So you can easily find it. So just go to the browser and type GitHub for Windows if you are using Windows operating system. Otherwise, this GitHub client is available for Mac and Linux also. Okay. Okay, so this one is the official site for downloading the GitHub client. Okay, so if you can download the installable files according to your operating system. So now you can see the Git is getting downloaded. So before using GitHub CLI commands, you should must have this Git Bash installed on your machine. We will initialize, in fact, create the connection with GitHub from local machine. So in order to do so, we identify and define that the existing folder is the Git folder, right? So git init command basically keep your current working directory as a Git directory. Okay. Now we add all the files and artifacts of this folder, okay, into the local branch of Git. That means the files and artifacts would be just clubbed and created as a Git identifiable file, right? File set. So for that we git add dot. Okay. Okay. So this time we are just going to put all the files and directory into the repository for initial release. So I just added everything. So dot means we are going to add everything. Okay, but during the development phases, it is not the general practice. We review the files and always add and push only the required files that needs to be pushed to Git repo, not blindly all file and folders at a time. Okay. Now we have to commit the code. Okay. So after committing the code here, it doesn't mean all the code will be directly pushed onto GitHub Remote, right? So it as still your file still remains on the local PC only, okay? But you can consider it like it creates a bundle release for Git, okay, in local environment for easily posting the code into server, okay, through some other commands, right? So for now, we will commit the code, git commit, okay, and you can put some message about this commit, okay, maybe what changes you have done. So one liner or lesser words, okay, you can put some meaningful comments regarding this commit, okay. So like I am putting here, this is my initial project commit. So these comments helps the developers to understand that what different changes were committed in particular release, okay. So in order to establish the authentication, you have to go to your account setting and see what authentication method you have applied. Okay, accordingly, you have to choose the best possible option and go to setting. Scroll down. There should be some password and authentication. So, okay. So this is for account password. And if we are using API services, then on behalf of GitHub, we can make some automated program. Okay, so there we need passkeys, and this password and two-factor authentication is just for securing the account. Okay, but our objective is to make authenticated connection through local machine to GitHub origin. Okay, so this is not going to help us. There is another setting. Just a minute. Yes, now here we are. So we need to create a personal access token. Okay, and this will work as a password for GitHub command. Okay, so in order to generate the token, you can click here. So I'm just clicking on generate a new token. It will ask me once my credentials. So dear learners, you can also try these steps along me. Okay, if you are facing same issue. Okay, here we need to put why we are creating this access token. Okay, so I'm just typing the command. It could be anything for training purpose. My learners. Okay, and you need to give permission that this token, if you use this token, then what are what all are different permissions allowed for this token. So right now I'm just allowing everything to this token because I really don't want any blockers at this moment. Okay, so write project definitely, read project. Okay, so we don't need this GPG keys and signing key for now. And at the end, just create, click on generate. Okay. So now here you can see you have generated a token. So copy this token from here. Just click on this two square icon, double square icon. Yeah, copied it. Keep it at some safe places. Okay, so that you could not, you should not miss it. Okay, we can later refer this access token. Okay, now come to the command prompt again. We will also copy our GitHub repository link. So I'm going to commit this project here. Yeah. So copy this HTTPS repo path. Okay. Repository. So dear learner, here you need to remember that in order to connect your local Git directly with a remote server repository of GitHub, you must have to make authentication. Okay, so the first criteria for creating authentication is to must create a personal access token within a GitHub account. Okay, so that we just created now, and then step one is we will add the remote here. And you can note I'm in the current working directory of my project that I'm just going to commit on Git server, right? After coming to this working directory, I'm setting the origin of Git repository. So Git remote add origin. Git remote add origin, and I just need to place the repository path. Okay, so this command will add the remote origin with your local Git folder. Okay, so it says remote or origin already exists. Okay. Okay, that means the origin is already set. Maybe in earlier we have set this remote for our project. That's why it's just giving us a warning message. Okay. So now the next step is we have to write command to pass the credentials in order to connect with remote origin. Git remote set your set. And there is a special format in order to write this command, because we are following here HTTPS protocol. So in order to send the request, so after https:// you have to put username. So I have created my username Elkin_Fullav, so I am putting here. So if you have any your Git username, so you should put the Git username here, then colon, and then you have to pass on here the personal access token that you just created in your GitHub account. So this one I created and copied that time. Now the same token value, I'm copying it from here and typing it now, right? And after that, @github.com, and then /, then again username. So here you can put your GitHub account username that you use to work with repositories, and then you need to mention the repository name, right, with extension. So my repository name is .NET Core projects.git, right? So I'm just double checking my syntax should be correct. Git remote set put the username. Now it seems all right. Now I'm entering the command. Okay. So now this command set a connection between my local Git directory with a remote origin directory on the GitHub server. Okay. So if there would be any problem, then this command prompt should give me the alert and show the error message, but it is not coming anything. So that means our project is successfully connected. Okay, I mean the local Git is connected to the remote GitHub server and it's authenticated. So far we are good. So now it should definitely push your code. So again, what I try to do, I open the Visual Studio for this .NET Core project, and I just make a smaller change. Like I'm changing this as a very hot. Okay, so remember, and modifying it hot to hot level 2. Okay, so as you can see here, I just modified these to text in order to just see how it updated. The updated code goes to the remote repository of GitHub. Okay, so now I'm saving it. I save this file, program.cs, and now I'm again coming to the command prompt, right? So as we did this command earlier also, so I'm just going to git add dot. So dot means I'm just adding all the files, so wherever the changes happen to the local git release. Okay, so you can consider it as a stack or release. I mean that is ready to be pushed on remote server. Okay, so it's a local single Git release file. So dear learners, now I'm just going to add the file in which I made the changes, okay, into the local Git deployment release, okay, or the stacks file. So I made the changes here in program.cs, okay. So let's see where it resides, okay. So it resides under this plan delivery application. So just copying it. Now I'm putting git add and the directory name under which this file resides, program.cs. Now I'm entering. Okay. So now this program.cs file is added into the local GitHub deployment release file. Dear learners, now we are going to commit the changes, whatever we have added into the deployment release of GitHub in local directory. Okay. So git commit -a we have modified CS to include the changes of temperature values. Okay. Now we will just save and close. Okay. So here we have successfully committed our changes and put the meaningful message. Now we will simply push our committed code from local Git branch to the GitHub Remote Server repository, right? So we will enter git push origin and we are going to commit the code in main branch. Okay, so this is the only branch created on GitHub remotes. Okay, so now your code must be committed on a remote origin. So let's verify it. Let's refresh this section. Okay, so now you can see the commit has been made 4 minutes ago. Okay, it shows the same time in which we made the changes and committed in our local machine, and it also shows what the comment we have put in this release. Okay, so this way, so if any other developer see the committed code and uh, inside the remote repository, so they will figure out what all changes has been made. Okay, and even developers can go through all the changes that has been made by just clicking that portion and that commit ID. And here you can say detail on what all changes we have made, right? Okay, so you can see it here. Like for example, I think you must be remember, like we modified the hot with hot level 2 and replace this filtering with very hot. Okay, so now these all changes has been committed and pushed over remote Odyssey. Okay, so this is really a great tool for developers to collaborate, okay, and work together. Hope now you will understand that GitHub is a very useful tool for us. So GitHub can enable us to collaborate with a smaller to larger team and work flawlessly, smoothly, and achieve our common goal for the successful implementation of this project. Okay. So dear learners, so this is all about Module 1. Thank you so much for watching my video. Okay, and if you have any queries, so you can please put in the comment section, or you can also email me your queries on my email ID lkinfolab@gmail.com. And if you want to be connected with us, then please subscribe my channel and like my videos. In the next module, Module 2, we will dive deeper into the syntax of C#, .NET, core nuances, and about web API concepts. And in subsequent section till Module 12, we will be completely ready to showcase a working live project on sustainability theme, that is the plant delivery system. So thank you for watching me. And if you like my video, then please subscribe my channel to get updated with the latest videos. And thank you so much.